Next gen this, next gen that, everybody is talking about the next generation because obviously tennis needs its successors after the inevitable end of the Big Three era. But is this next gen thing even working? Is it helping the younger generation become a bigger deal in the world of tennis? Well, in order to figure that out, I will rank every single player that competed at the next gen finals tier list style, and the tiers will be as follows: GOAT conversation, next gen top 3, great but not generational, mid, and finally, who? Let's start off the rankings with the 2017 class of the next gen, and now I have a question for you all. Do y'all remember who won the inaugural next gen finals? Well, if you don't remember, unfortunately the person who won it all had one of the saddest careers out of all of the next gen guys, and even though technically his career is not over, Hyun Chung's career will forever stay a what if because of his constant injuries, but everybody will remember his victory over Novak Djokovic at the Australian Open in 2018, so it would be wrong to put him in the who tier. Therefore, even though I am sad that I even have to say this, he doesn't deserve to be any higher than the mid tier. But there were guys that played in 2017 next gen finals that deserve to be in the who tier, namely Gianluigi Quinzi, who was alright on clay courts on the Challenger Tour if I remember correctly, but the last time he played was in 2020, so I assume that his career is pretty much over. The same goes for Jared Donaldson, whose most memorable moment on the tour was his meltdown against Ramos Vinolas, but that's it. Denis Shapovalov is the definition of mid, but now let's add some guys to the great but not generational tier. Those guys are Borna Choric and Karen Khachanov. They are two players who have won Masters in their careers, and at times they can be scary good on the court, but I don't feel like calling them generational. But someone who is better than them both is Andrey Rublev. To the dismay of every 15-year-old tennis Twitter girl, he is definitely not generational, but still I can't pretend like he hasn't done anything great throughout his career. Average players don't win 14 titles in their careers, and even though he hasn't won the big one, he is still one of the greats of the next gen. Speaking of winning the big one, there was a player at the 2017 next gen finals who has won a Grand Slam title, and his name is Daniil Medvedev, and that automatically puts him in the next gen top 3 tier. His level has dropped off a little bit recently, but there was a time when he was undoubtedly top 2 player in the world, so understandably I consider him the best player of the 2017 class. 2018 next gen finals were much better name recognition wise, but all of them are pretty much on a similar level apart from one obvious outlier. Liam Caruana, and he's the definition of a guy that should be in the who tier because bro's career high ranking was 375, and the only reason why he was at the next gen finals is because they needed an Italian there and he just filled up the quota. But in general, this class was filled with great but not generational guys. Taylor Fritz, Frances Tiafoe, Stefanos Tsitsipas, Hubert Hurkacz and Alex de Minaur deserve to be in that tier. Next one up is Jaume Munar, who is super annoying, so he deserves to be in the mid tier, and the last one is Andrey Rublev, who is someone who we already talked about, which means that even though it makes me sick to say this, Stefanos Tsitsipas is the best player of this class. He has been to Grand Slam finals, he has won numerous Masters titles, and he has won the ATP finals, so objectively he is the most accomplished one here. 2019 finals were similar to the 2018 finals in a sense that most of the players that were at the tournament were on the same level. Hugo, Humbert, Alejandro Davidovich Fokina, Michael Ymer and Miomir Kecmanovic all belong to the mid tier. As there is not much to discuss about them, Tiafoe and de Minaur competed at the finals for the second time, so their rankings don't change. But there were two guys who seemingly are above the rest of the competitors, Jannik Sinner and Casper Ruud, and they are definitely going to the same great but not generational tier, but I had to think for some time to figure out who is the best player of this class. And without showing any biases, I think that Casper Ruud is the best that 2019 Next Gen Finals had to offer. Obviously, the fact that all of his titles are 250s is amusing, but it's not like Jannik is a big title winner himself, so I value 3 Grand Slam finals, 1 Masters final, and 1 year-end tournament final above 1 Masters title and 2 Masters runner-up trophies. I have a feeling that from year to year, Next Gen Finals are dropping in quality, because in 2021 it was filled with mid players like Hugo Gaston, Juan Manuel Cerundolo, Sebi Baez and Brandon Nakashima. I guess Lorenzo Musetti and Sebastian Korda are alright, so they will be in the great but not generational tier. And again, similarly to the previous year, we have 2 obvious frontrunners in the form of Carlos Alcaraz and Holger Rune. And let's be real, nobody will be surprised about me calling Alcaraz the best of 2021 class, because that boy is unbelievably good. He already has 2 Grand Slams, 4 Masters trophies and 12 titles in total at the young age of 20. So in my opinion, it is only logical to put him into the GOAT conversation tier, but I have a feeling that some might disagree with my placement of Holger Rune, because in my opinion he is a top 3 player in the history of the Next Gen tournament. He might not have that many tournament wins, so you could make a case for someone else taking his spot in the top 3, but for now I am giving him the benefit of the doubt and ranking him based more on his potential. I am just happy that we have such players on the tour that are fearless and confident that they can beat anyone that steps on the court against them. Now that we have talked about the bright spots of this new generation, we must mention 2022 Next Gen class that is filled with mid players. Tseng, Arnaldi and Passaro are mid. Jack Draper, Jiří Lehečka and Dominik Stricker are better than them, but still mid! I think the highest potential out of all of the before mentioned guys belongs to Jack Draper, but overall best player at this point in time is Lorenzo Musetti. So this is my Next Gen tier list. What did you like about it? What would you change? Comment your thoughts down below, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, take it easy, my friend.